Hi, my name is Rahul, and in this video, I am going to discuss the questions which I have received in the task 8.1c regarding the UML diagram. So, my first question is, how do you represent classes, fields, methods, and relationships in the term of UML? So, uh, as you can see, the UML diagram are represented using a rectangular box, which further is divided three parts. So at the top part, we have the class name. Then in the middle part, we have the fields and the attributes. And the third part, the bottom part, we have the methods or we can see the functions. So this structure helps us in understanding what data the class is containing and what operations it can perform. So in detail, if I want to say, in the top section, we can see our class name, which is the account, and in the middle part, we can see we have the fields like the name and the balance, which are storing data of the account. And in the bottom section, we have the methods like the account, deposit, withdraw, print, and the getter functions, which are defining the behavior of the classes. And then we have these symbols like the plus, minus, and the hashtag, which are representing the access levels. So firstly, the this plus symbol means public, which means it can be accessed from anywhere. Then we have this minus symbol, which means private, which means we can only access it inside the class. Then we have this hashtag symbol, which means protected, so it can be accessed in the class and its child classes. So these plus minus and the hashtag symbols helps us in understanding the security of the data. And now I am going to explain the relationships in my UML diagram. So the first relationship is inheritance. Inheritance is shown using this uh, hollow triangle line. Uh, it this which represents is a relationship. In my diagram, this deposit transaction, withdraw transaction, and this transfer transaction all inherit from the abstract class transaction, which means these all are using the common fields like the amount and the success, and they are also overriding the methods such as the execute and the rollback. So then next we have this association. Association is shown using the uh, simple line between the classes. It represents uses relationship. For example, this deposit transaction is connected to account. This is because transaction needs an account to perform operations like deposit or withdraw. So then next we have this composition, which is represented using a field diamond. Uh, it represents a strong relationship where one class completely owns the another class. In my diagram, this transfer transaction contains this withdraw transaction and the deposit transaction, and these objects are created only inside it, and it cannot exist independently. So then next we have this aggregation, which is shown using empty diamond. In my diagram, this bank has the account and the transaction. So here is my account. As you can see, it is represented using a polo diamond, and here is the transaction. But these can exist independently outside the bank. And then next we have this dependency. It represents a temporary relationship. For example, here bank system depends on the bank. Yeah, and it just uses it to perform the operations. Now I will explain the second question, which is describe the relationship between the diagram and your code. So as you can see here in this UML, the count class in UML is implemented in the codes with the fields and these methods like this private decimal balance, uh, this private string name. I will show you in my code. As you can see here in this count class, private decimal balance, private string name, and the methods like the public bool deposit, public bool withdraw. and this public static print. Uh, and this then as you can see, the transaction class is abstract in the UML, and it is also written as this abstract class transaction in the code. Here you can see here in this UML abstract class. So then next we have the inheritance in UML, which is represented using this class deposit transaction inherits from the transaction. Then the class withdraw transaction inherits from the transaction. So then next we have the association, which is shown where a transaction is an account. So for this, I will show you in the withdraw, no, in the deposit transaction, we have this private account ACC. So then next I will show you composition is implemented in this transfer transaction. You can see here private withdraw transaction withdraw, private deposit transaction deposit. Aggregation, then next we have the aggregation which is shown in the bank class using this private list accounts and then as this private list transactions. So now I am going to discuss the third question, which is how could you use this to think through a solution before you write the code? What would be the advantage to doing this? So, before writing the code, these UML can be used as a plan to design the system first. So we can understand how this all these different classes are connected to each other and what each class is doing. So instead of first writing the code, we can give a priority to draw this UML diagram and can think properly about the structure. So in this project, UML was showing how this transaction class is base class and the other classes like this deposit transaction, withdraw transaction, and the transfer transaction are connected to it. It also shows how this account class is connected to the bank. So it helps us very easy and in very simple way to understand it and make our doubts more clear before coding. And the main advantage of this is that it reduces our mistakes and the confusions. It also saves the time because we already know what to implement and the code become easier to write and we can understand it in more simpler way. So UML is like a plan which we have to implement before doing the actual work. So everything like the code can become more organized. So this was for the video. Thanks and have a nice day.